All right, welcome to another episode of the Lockdown Podcast, continuing to pick apart Raw, SmackDown, and this week WrestlePalooza. So there's a lot to get to, and I feel like there's never enough time to get to it. Um, so we'll just get into it. So Raw kicks off with basically John Cena giving typical John Cena promos and basically talking that he legitimately does fear Brock Lesnar, like it, you know, basically telling the truth. Um, but I mean, that was really all I guess that segment was, is him just kind of, talking about it and, saying how he's going to slay the beast. And that's the furthest thing from what happened, but we'll get to that. So we get Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez, which was kind of a match that's kind of on repeat, with Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez basically having consistent singles matches off and on for like the past months. But we do get the return of Bayley basically helping Lyra combat the Judgment Day, and this has kind of been widely talked about in regards to Bayley and kind of this split personality character, I guess you could say. It was a complete surprise to most that kind of Hugger Bayley was back. Basically hugging some of the commentators, the ring announcer, multiple fans, which I feel like Bayley's taking off, basically picking up where R-Truth left off when it comes to split personality. And I don't know if that was intentional or this was something in the books, or the R-Truth thing didn't work out, so they just chopped the whole thing off. And I feel like it fits Bayley better, so she can walk the tightrope of different characters. One being, the OG Hugger Bayley, and kind of a more like lovable yet still has some kind of, I guess, darkness to her character. But I guess we'll see in the coming weeks what does become of the split personality Bayley. If it's going to work out, I hope it works out, just because Bayley has kind of gotten lost in the shuffle. So I hope that they do something with this and not have it flop like so many other Triple H creative moments, over the course of the last 6 months. I really, really, really hope this works.
Yeah, something's got to change when it comes to the creative expectations as fans and critics of the WWE product. There's just got to be something that changes. We've got to have some new excitement, and maybe they're just waiting for WrestleMania season or waiting for some transitions to happen. Maybe some other stars getting back from injury or from other outside commitments, so we can, have some really interesting drama as opposed to just the same 4 or 5 types of matches that we've been getting.
Yeah, it's getting very complacent and repetitive. And it's like, I mean, we're 6 months away from like WrestleMania. I mean, it's they need to get their poop in a group now, just because if you can't even build stuff to even just mid PLEs, what is that going to get us moving forward into, 2026, into Royal Rumble, into WrestleMania season, all that. Like, they need to start. I mean, maybe this is trial and errors, I guess they're doing, and seeing what sticks.
Mhm.
I hope that's the case and they're not just really doing a shitty job.
Right.
But and again, it's always the wait and see game. That's one thing, as a WWE fan, as a professional wrestling fan, is that sometimes it's just being patient to see something pay off. And I hope, again, I hope that this is kind of the angle they're going with. Um, because I mean, you still have, you know, 3 big PLEs before the end of the year. You have the last match essentially of John Cena at Saturday Night Main Event in December. You still
No, they pushed his last match to be towards January.
okay.
They gave it another month. I think they added on 2 more cities.
Okay.
That's
So,
what I read.
okay. Yeah, I mean, even then, that's still, you know, still a good countdown left, for John Cena. But again, it's all wait and see game. It's all, what are they gonna do next? Is it gonna be a flop? Is it gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened? Because as professional wrestling fans, we live for the surprise moments, the moments that weren't gone through the rumor mill online, true surprises, true, like, holy shit moments. But I feel like we get less and less of those, you know, every year, it feels like. Um, but so WWE has been absolutely fumbling with Penta, putting him in essentially meaningless matches. Nothing real, no real push to any championship, with the exception of, like, I think it was 2 weeks ago when he had a match, and it was supposed to have ramifications, but, like, even that match didn't really push either wrestler to the next echelon towards a championship. So it's talked about, but it's not followed through with, which I think is, again, another WWE fault. You can't just run us with something and then just have it disappear, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like, I mean, being Kofi Kingston, I mean, this is, again, we've been doing these repeats with New Day and people, especially Penta. You know, it, it's we gotta have something new and fresh. It's it's just the same shit recycled every week. We get we get CM Punk and AJ Lee confront, having this whole spat with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, which goes about as cliche as any CM Punk or Seth Rollins promos. And there's no the real, like, the reality of that whole thing with AJ Lee, CM Punk versus Becky Lynch, and Seth Rollins is really, like, it's very mid to me. One, because it was like, it's a quick build just so we can put this on the marquee for the launch of ESPN. Like, in wow, wow, I'm so, like, they didn't even rush this back. AJ Lee didn't have any matches. She didn't have any squabbles with anybody. Like, she just got pushed into the story, and then poof, here's the match.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they could have at least given AJ some bouts underneath her before. You could do them off live. You could do them at a house show or something, but, like, give her some reps. But they just thrust her in just because the the authentic hatred between Seth Rollins and CM Punk, and Becky pushing the envelope to basically get an AJ Lee return, which, I mean, was, again, you didn't even have to, like, watch the rumor mills to know what was going to happen.
Well, definitely.
Um, And oh, man, so El Grande Americano and his 2 to 3 stooges,
Mhm.
like, this is the most boring, uneventful, predictable, mid, below mid, stuff with this whole. And honestly, like, I feel like if Chad Gable didn't get hurt, this story would be better. And but it's like, it's essentially giving Tyler Bate, um, Pete Dunne, and Ludwig Kaiser something to do. And I guess if that's what they want to do, and that's, like we've said before, is that, hey, if I'm on TV, regardless of how silly it is, I'm on TV, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's the gimmick they want to run with, then I guess, run with it. So I don't. Okay, so Stephanie Vaquer ends up getting a match, after a spat that happened in the back, where basically Asuka basically throws Kairi Sane to the wolves against Stephanie Vaquer, and I don't like this new Asuka. It
Mhm.
she's kind of, I mean, not kind of, she is a bully. Like, Kairi Sane is basically getting dragged along by a dog collar by Asuka. And Asuka's not doing anything meaningful at this juncture. She had the
No.
one match against Nikki Bella that, she tapped Nikki Bella out, which that's whatever. Nikki Bella is an afterthought at this point. But like, what is Asuka doing? Like, seriously, what is the storyline for her other than bullying Kairi Sane and protecting Io Sky that doesn't want their help? Like, Io Sky has become kind of middle ground when it comes to other women in the division. She's not callous towards anybody. She doesn't have any hatred towards anyone. But you have Asuka coming in and basically don't talk to her kind of situations. I think it's boring.
It is boring, but I think they're trying to push Asuka to be a heel.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
think
what they want
Asuka's
to
better
do.
off being. I think Asuka's better off being a heel.
Yeah, I definitely agree with him. There's gonna be a big payoff with Io Sky and Asuka, and perhaps Asuka is winding down her career or getting into a place in her career where she moves into kind of a part timer role. Um, so
That's what I
that
think.
might be,
That's what I think so too.
yeah, that might be what we're getting. Like maybe by WrestleMania season, she'll be kind of a part timer, maybe a manager type, mentor type thing. It's not her age. It might just be like she might just be transitioning into something like that, kind of like a Shinsuke Nakamura role where he's on the roster, um, but it's more, you know, special attraction type thing. So
I mean, how old is she though? I mean, she can't. I mean, she's
she's
Asuka?
probably
probably.
Asuka's probably 40.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, honestly, like, from the matches that she's had over the last 6 months, like, I don't feel like she's slowing down any. But like, to
She
get to
is. She's 43.
Yep.
but like, I still feel like she's got a lot in the tank. The matches that you see, that
No.
she doesn't look like much rust there. But it's
But
like, to degrade her down to like basically the same thing in the back, having these segments and these little segments, like, I feel like it's
it's
unbecoming.
it probably has a lot more to do with creative and booking and what Triple H sees in an older star versus what she still feels comfortable and confident doing. I I wouldn't put it past Triple H if it has something to do with that. But at the same time, it might just be like, hey, with this whole knee thing, You know, she's probably just like, hey, bro, um, let me just be a mouthpiece. I'm more entertaining with that. You know, I don't. You know, it could be any number of things, but I tend to like Asuka being this way, because it's always great when there's a redemption. So, you know, she could just be frustrated, you know, and taking it out on anybody. That is what the character is. And maybe she just needs a character change, and this is the direction they all decided to go. So I'm kind of in for it, but I would like there to be a really solid payoff. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, I want it to be a really solid. Don't drag out this Oscar being a bully and being a heel type thing, and we get like a really lame payoff. Like
Well,
Io
and
Sky
that's kind of what
says,
I'm.
you know,
That's yeah,
yeah. Io Sky
and that's
says,
just kind of
"Oh,
what
I'll
I'm. That's
join
what
you."
I'm. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Is not necessarily that these segments don't have their place, but it's just like it's the same every week, and it's not like she's picking a fight with anyone new. It's anybody, you know. But it's
Mhm.
not like she has matches as a result of the segment. Like if she had matches with all these different people that were just trying to like talk to Io Sky or talk to Kairi Sane, and then like here comes Asuka and she's like, "You stay away," blah blah, and then has a match or something. Even if it's a mid match that doesn't have much backing to it, I still want to see Asuka wrestle just because she's still good.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
And it,
she's still a
you
great
know,
wrestler. She's still got great talent for being the age she is. She can still move.
you
Yeah.
know, and I think you need to let things cook sometimes. In like in the mid of the card and the mid titles and everything else in between, all the mid stuff still needs a purpose, right? And so like
Mhm.
there still needs to be some kind of ebb and flow, with the undercard. But I digress. So I am getting super annoyed personally, me, and I feel like a lot of people are with in regards to the vision, specifically Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Um, they're showing up on whatever brand they want.
Like the
And,
bloodline.
exactly. I mean, but they also had both titles. But
True.
like, and so they technically could. But like, they, so we have Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed versus LA Knight and Jimmy Uso, right? And
Mhm.
it's really stupid that you're giving us this hype match before the hype match at WrestlePalooza. It doesn't make any freaking sense because realistically, the only person that's because LA Knight, unbeknownst to me, was the guest referee. So basically, only thing that this isn't is with Jey Uso, and it's just on Raw. Like, you know, I just don't get what if you're trying to build to a match, have some segments, have them brawl and then get broken up or something. Like, why are we having matches that are damn near the same thing you're going to give us for $30 a month at
Mhm.
WrestlePalooza? We don't want to see this match. Before we get to WrestlePalooza, I just want to say WrestlePalooza was a glorified Saturday night main event. It was not big, but anyway.
I wasn't happy with it.
But
I tried to watch it on the ESPN app, kept fucking freezing, kept glitching, kept kicking me off. Then I went to Hulu to see if I can watch it on there. I could, still kept freezing, kept glitching, kicked me off a couple times. I was getting to the point where I'm not gonna watch this. I'll just
yeah,
watch the replays of it on YouTube.
Mhm.
yeah.
I didn't have this
So
problem when it was on Peacock.
no,
It
Yeah.
but
felt like, just like you said in the message, it felt more like I was watching the Logan Paul and Mike Tyson fight. Kept
Mhm.
freezing.
yeah.
I don't know if
So
that happened to any of the other people out there, but it was definitely happened to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So so SmackDown is starting off to be something interesting, I guess. I understand that Brock Lesnar has all this stuff outside the ring, but god damn it, he is terrifying.
That dude, do you
Um
see the pictures
so
of him they took of him was all jacked up. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, and Michael Cole, I guess, was supposed to go on some kind of back segment or something, and Brock comes out and like carries Michael Cole like a lunch pail, and does puts him in the ring, whatever, and then all of a sudden Corey Graves comes out to kind of step to
Protect
the
him.
beast, which big mistake, but Corey Graves got 2 F5s for his time, and I really honestly think like Brock Lesnar is a once in 100 years talent. Like like I said, I understand all the stuff outside of the ring, whatever. But as far as him being in WWE product, you look at him and you're just like, this guy does things that shouldn't be done for a guy his size. Period.
Duke can run. That dude's a
You know,
fast freaking dude.
yeah. I mean, and so like, definitely a, interesting segment, and obviously telling John Cena he's out for blood or whatever else. And at least he kind of had at least a response to John Cena's stuff
All I
on
can
Monday
say, I
night.
bet you whoever the cameraman is that he grabbed that camera, I bet you that dude shit and pissed himself.
Oh, he's probably wearing a diaper.
Probably.
So we get Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defending their titles against Chelsea Green and Alba Fire, which again, this is kind of a repeatish nonsense that WWE is becoming very synonymous with. Obviously Charlotte and Alexa Bliss win this. They, retain their titles, and the only thing I can kind of say about this match is I feel like Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair is veteran status and future Hall of Famers that they are, they're having fun with this. Like, it looks like they're genuinely having fun. You had them both, like, you had Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair do Charlotte Flair's finisher, the God, what's that stupid move called?
Figure eight.
Natural
yes.
selection. Natural selection. And so I think this is just honestly like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss kind of moving down the card to let some other people shine. And I think it's very respectable. Just because we obviously know Charlotte Flair being the 14-time champion and everything. Alexa Bliss, I think, is like 5, I think. And so like I think it's kind of cool for them to kind of move down the card a little bit and kind of let some of these newcomers shine, the Tiffany Strattons, basically a lot of the NXT kind of, that have moved to the main roster, your Stephanie McCare, like just a lot, and so I think it's, definitely veteran status that you can do that, which I feel like some just can't do that, and they're just way too much of an egomaniac to let that happen. But I tip my hat to Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for doing this. So, so once again, for the 1,000th time, we get Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus another tag team showing up, and I don't even know which show they're on anymore. And they just beat the living daylights out of Fraxium. Poor guys. Yeah, so I mean, it's like it's too much. Like the amount of TV time these guys get, and then some of these other tag teams are degraded down to backstage segments. There's a lot of tag teams, guys. Like let's give some other tag teams some shine. Stay
Plus
on your
need to work on they both of them need to work on their their mic skills a little bit better.
just a smidge. Yeah.
They're not there to be great talkers.
No. So, man. So they booted off the Tiffany Stratton match off of the WrestlePalooza card, and basically we're gonna get this triple threat, I guess, this
On
Friday.
SmackDown.
And so we get a Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Nia Jax, this whole brawl in typical fashion as it always happens. They get broken up and all that nonsense. Really nothing there to honestly talk about. It's cooking for a build for a triple threat, which I'm okay with. I like this is what I was saying about, you don't need Braun Strowman and Braun Breaker to be in a match. They could have done this kind of stuff. Well, they get in a brawl, they break them up. Like you can see the intensity, but when you get the match literally the night before they are on a big ESPN launch PLE card, like it's stupid. But so Sami Zayn, in respect to John Cena, has been doing United States open challenges, and this week it was Carmelo Hayes, who honestly put up a good fight. I like Carmelo Hayes. I think Carmelo Hayes has a bright future. Just not
That's
right
if
now.
that's if WWE wants to actually do shit with him.
Yeah,
They
number
should.
one.
They should.
Number one draft pick, man. He still says that.
Oh yeah,
and he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's a great talent. He can fucking move and wrestle, and he could put on a great story if they give it to him. He put on great stories when he was in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in typical fashion, WWE has these stupid segments for contract signings where 90% of the time, actually probably 95% of the time, it always ends in a brawl.
Yeah.
Like it's so predictable, and I guess it's the trope of all tropes, I guess. But that whole brawl happens. Yeah. So I guess we'll get to the meat and potatoes. So WrestlePalooza, we'll definitely touch on the, a lot of things before the matches, but like, Tim, you watched it live and it was absolute shit. It was skipping. It was not loading properly, and like we said in the group text, it's basically the same problem Netflix faced with Logan Paul or Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, basically not being able to handle the streaming power because ESPN already does stuff for sports.
Yeah, as I say, I can understand WWE wants to go to ESPN. I get it. WWE is a sports thing, but you have to understand where they're going to do these PLEs on a ESPN where people are sitting here watching football, baseball, hockey, whatever sport that is streaming on there, and you got these billions of people watching WWE. That's going to lag out all these other people that are trying to watch other sports, and that's going to piss them off.
Yeah, because it's not just interjecting WWE fans; it's everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like
right.
it's I don't like it.
So here's the problem. I'm a web developer when I'm not a customer service rep. So just a really quick search. I wanted to know what was ESPN's streaming platform built on, and apparently, according to the internet, it's built on similar technology that you would build an Android app with. They're using a lot of things that, a lot of developers use in order to allow people to see, video streams and that sort of stuff. So it sounds like once again, they underestimated the absolute magnitude of the internet wrestling community at large, which is WWE and everyone else. It was a big weekend for professional wrestling. There was AEW's
All
Out in Toronto, which had
that was me personally. I watched a little bit of it. It was pretty great.
Yeah, there are, definitely there you have that, and then people immediately went to go watch WWE's WrestlePalooza. I don't know what it takes for these partnerships to come together, but if there is not a clause where you literally say to the person or to the corporation that you're partnering with, saying like, "Hey, expect to get hit by 100,000 or 100 million people at one time on your servers. You need to do some upgrades in order to make these connections happen." And they're like, whatever, blah blah blah, and blow it off. And then there's no like, hey, we screwed up. We didn't take it that seriously. We thought our infrastructure was strong enough to handle this. We're sorry. Here's what we're going to do to fix that and publicize what they're working to do to fix that. And the people that paid the money that couldn't watch it, for them to say, like, hey, we're going to give you a month of free service so you'll get the next PLE on us. You know, if there's nothing like that, it comes off and it is just a money grab. It is, how much can we fleece from the internet wrestling community in at large and give them a subpar product and not care about it. It's the equivalent of going to your favorite restaurant that you've been supporting for years, and they have a new item on the menu, and then everyone shows up and everything breaks. And instead of them saying, like, hey, we're going to make this right for you right now and in the future as a thank you for being a patron, they're like, our bad, try us next month. And, you have a poor experience. You're not going to want to go back. And that's how I feel with ESPN doing that to the internet wrestling community and people that can only watch the product because of the internet. Um, yeah, so no, I
Well,
think you
and there
can't do
was
that.
there was rustlings of some other, through many rumor mills that I go down sometimes, is that Netflix was trying to basically think about taking the whole thing over in its entirety and trying to basically buy out ESPN and basically get WWE to be all on Netflix. And I don't know if this was down the pipeline, maybe, they were saying literally like mid next year or something. But I mean, I don't know how valid it is. I mean, it was from multiple sources, so it wasn't like it was just one person saying it. Because it's like when they did that whole Stephanie McMahon did that whole VPN thing, and basically um you basically make a VPN where you basically can say you're about anywhere. And so you can basically watch the thing on Netflix like the rest of the globe does. And the problem is that everybody outside of the US basically gets a free pass,
Yep.
and everyone in the US gets fucked.
Yep. And a lot
And
of these people in the US have to either pay that bundle with Hulu, or if you just want the ESPN, pay that $29.99 a month. You got these kids that want to watch it, and they're paying, say, $10 a month for Peacock or whatever, and now they have to like bug the hell out of their mom and dad to say, "Hey, could you pay for $30 a month for ESPN for I can
well,
watch the PLEs?"
and it just keeps on getting worse. And I really honestly I absolutely fault this because I I literally posted literally on one of my social medias that basically Vinnie Mac would have never let any of this happen. No
Oh, definitely.
sponsorships, no ESPN deals, none of this shit. And now we're subjected to basically you as a fan without even going to a show are basically spending about $80 a month to watch the product because you have to have live TV to watch SmackDown, just SmackDown. You have to have a $30 subscription to watch it on Netflix, which is my subscription is like $29, freaking almost $30. $30 for that. 30. I mean, in like,
I think mine's like 18, $20 almost.
yeah, it's so astronomical, and it's like you're money hungry. I don't care. You can't tell me that you guys aren't making money hand over fist. And obviously the debt portion of it is not even WWE, but the WWE fans have to suffer for it because it's TKO that's in the bucket. So so basically they're thinking of every possible avenue for advertiser. We got Papa John's at WrestlePalooza. Like we have things around the ring. I'm really surprised that like we don't have wrestlers with freaking NASCAR jackets with freaking advertisers on them. And I get it, it's a business, but Vince McMahon, the only reason why it even exists today was that man. And now he cared about the fans. He cared about generational fans. And now we're to the point where it's like to go to an event to take if let's say you have even just 2 kids, you're talking, $300, $400 for 3 of you to go to an event and not even have the best seats. And then they want to buy merch. I will say at least merchandise has really been kind of flatline plateau as far as prices. But like, other than that, everything is fucking expensive. I mean, literally there was a sign in there that said, "I sold my house for tickets." And obviously I don't think that's totally valid, but it's definitely a funny sign. But like, it's just out of hand that like
yeah, there's this one guy that I follow on TikTok and Twitch. He posted on his social media of like where the green guy, the green shirt guy says he picked his section for that front row seat for I think it was for the SmackDown last week. It was like $300 on Ticket Pick just for one ticket. He was trying to wait for it to see if it lowered down to jump on it, but he said the lowest it got was $250.
And it's like, and that's just for 3 hours of entertainment.
Yeah,
maybe 3.5, maybe 4, essentially with main event. But like,
and the dark matches.
It's getting so out of hand. It's the ring might as well be a different color. Like, it's just
not. I mean, I think it went from like that light off-white gray color under, Vince McMahon to like this like muted blue type color.
Yeah, it's because they you want to slap 300 freaking sponsorships on there. Like, I mean, the whole ring's going to be covered. I know
already this time on the Saturday, the main big sponsor was Papa John's.
Yeah, but well, let's get to WrestlePalooza. Let's talk about it. It kicks off with Brock Lesnar versus John Cena in the F5 heard around the world. This wasn't a match. It's a beatdown.
Ooh, that was a fucking
and this isn't the only time Brock Lesnar is absolutely squashed John Cena. I think it was a while ago, but it was
he did it at a SummerSlam.
Yeah, where he just comes in and just wrecks him for like
he came in and he gave him, I think he gave Cena at the SummerSlam, I think it was about 11, 50, I think about 15 suplexes.
Yeah, he just kept pausing. Yeah. So it's
like, I mean, it like was I mean, and I assume, I mean, I have to assume that this was John Cena's wishes to get his ass obliterated. He's only beat Brock Lesnar once out of like 4 times. And like this for me was a Brock Lesnar match, not a John Cena farewell match.
Yeah, yeah.
This was let's see. He gave him more F5s than suplexes. Like this was an absolute mauling. This wasn't like,
I
I mean,
gave him like
it was
3.
5 Fs. It was like
Yeah.
5 F5s, and I mean, and then one more for the ref just for fun. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, like there were kids crying, like literally in tears.
Like it's not like we haven't seen kids,
No, but this is this is the farewell tour of John Cena.
Cena got like maybe 3 FUs on him, and that's about it.
Yeah, and they actually mentioned that too. That you used to call it the FU because it was about Brock, but
yeah, it's the attitude adjustment. Yeah, it was more of a making fun of the F5.
Yeah, so. But like, I mean, this wasn't like some decent match. It wasn't a match. And then obviously of course, obviously you had Paul Heyman come out and do what Paul Heyman does as the advocate. And I thought that was kind of a little icing on the cake.
I had a feeling that was going to happen when Brock told him on SmackDown, goes, "We need to talk soon," or something like that.
Yeah. So we get Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker versus the Usos, and LA Knight as the special guest referee that basically just kind of let anything go.
It became like a fucking street fight.
Yeah, this wasn't that good of a match for me.
And Jey Uso getting busted open by his own chair.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen better matches between these guys on Raw or SmackDown than I did at this PLE. And this was the only reason why this is so terrible is because it's the ESPN launch. And you're supposed to be bringing these boom boom pow matches, and it was just like you said, a glorified street fight. LA Knight really didn't do a whole lot. He just kind of counted the 1, 2, 3. And I didn't like it because we've seen it so many times.
Yeah, I got up and walked away from the TV a couple times for that match.
This did not belong, even at Saturday Night Main Event. This did not belong. The card in and of its entirety was very mid. Like any of these matches could have been on Raw or SmackDown, and it would have been a decent match, let alone putting these caliber of matches on the ESPN the launch. And Triple H talked it up and did all this crap. And you know what? Great for being a hype man, but also delivering disappointment. I thought less of this PLE. I watched it for the sake of watching it, but if I knew, I would have skimmed through it faster. Now, the one good thing about this PLE was obviously Stephanie Vicaire versus Io Sky for the vacant women's title. Obviously, Stephanie Vicaire won it, and god damn, she's fine. Let's just talk about it.
Booker T has already said everything that needs to be said. So
I was happy to see her win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a shoo-in. I mean, but I didn't like that they put her on NXT Homecoming, though. I thought that was kind of dumb. I thought they could have done something better with that, but and then they replaced her with Lyra Valkyria. Like, yeah, but yeah. So we finally get the CM Punk AJ Lee match versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Boring.
I loved it.
I will say
that's two sides. Like boring. I loved it.
They withheld AJ Lee as they do every person that ever comes back, to basically subjecting in the match when a lot of damage has already been done. This was like a Judgment Day match when Dominic Mysterio finally gets in when there's already had so much carnage.
Oh, I was gonna say that match was the only match I was looking forward to.
I just and I'm a Seth Rollins guy. Tim's a CM Punk guy. Frederick's a Drew McIntyre guy. Like, and I don't know, like it was just kind of to me. Like, I was great to see AJ Lee come back, and that's great, but like, and she's honestly similar age to most of the roster anyway, so it's not like I was worried about the age aspect.
She's
38.
Yeah, she was born the same year I was.
Yeah.
She just turned 38.
Yeah, and I was all for the fact that she came back and everything after 10 years, blah blah. But like, she just didn't look as good as years of old, and obviously that's a 10-year gap. But like, to have this caliber of a match, like if they would have like had build matches for her, give her some more bouts underneath her belt on her comeback, and maybe kind of knock off some of the rust, I would have been okay. I
think she was more worried because the main reason why she left WWE is because she was she had breast cancer, and she dealt with that, and plus she was dealing with being suicidal.
Yeah, I mean, she left for the right reasons. It wasn't. Yeah. I don't fault her for for everything that she.
I know she said she was a little on one of the broadcasts that I watched, that they did an interview with her, and they asked her if she was scared and nervous to be back in the ring and taking a bump, and she goes, "To be honest with you, yes, I am. I don't know if my body's gonna handle it, but we'll see."
Yeah, and I mean, and I feel like therein lies the problem, is that they rushed this match. Like, if AJ would have came back under just, let's say, like a Royal Rumble kind of mentality, where she gets some matches underneath her belt and just kind of gets back into the ebb and flow of things, and then you were to work what this match was, let's say WrestleMania, I would have been more like, I would have felt like it would have been a better match. It just AJ Lee looked very, very skeptical in the ring. She, you could see brief hesitations. You could, see when she kind of was hitting it, like she was really feeling it.
Yeah, and so like she was messing up a lot on her Black Widow move
submission. Yeah, and like, and I think that it was, for the caliber of this match, it was a rushed storyline, and it didn't do much for AJ Lee's return, because she did look a little rough around the edges, and obviously after 10 years and a lot of going things on in her life, like, to come back, like, I feel like this could have been a WrestleMania match, and it would have been better if AJ Lee returned at a different period, not for this feud.
I'm kind of on the fence about both of it. Like, on one hand, it's like, okay, great, AJ Lee's back. Let's see what she can do. Does it feel kind of rushed? Yeah, but if it's already been planned and in the works for weeks, I'm sure with her husband, CM Punk, that they've already been working on it. They've, getting her ring ready. Yeah, there's going to be some ring rust and nerves or anxieties about, having a good match, being safe in the ring, taking care of yourself and your partners. From what I saw of the match, I think she did well for being gone for 10 years and living a different life, and being able to come back and have that caliber of a match as like her first match back officially, not like the in-ring workouts she would have with CM Punk, or being a trainer for, I think she did some work for Glow when that rebooted.
So. I think so.
So she was doing some wrestling stuff there, but probably not taking bumps like in front of cameras and stuff like that, consulting and all kinds of other stuff. But to have that type of match with your husband against two other high caliber world class athletes and wrestlers, good for her. It's not a Nikki Bella, she was a couple of steps above Nikki Bella, coming back.
True.
So along those lines, her missing a couple of steps and moves, yes, but also too dragging it out and giving her more credibility and saying like, all right, I'm ready. I've had a few matches, just like we said, the criticism with not Brock Lesnar, but with Bill Goldberg and with others returning, not rushing the story just to like make money is probably a better way to go. And like letting this drag out and letting her and Becky have a match before they have this whole like couples feud or whatever they want to call it could have been a really great thing. She would have learned some things to work on. The match would have been more polished. But we got what we got for a pay-per-view that was designed solely to undermine another wrestling promotion. This is what you get, WWE.
Yeah.
This is what
it just I mean, I just feel like the caliber of match they could have had down the road, and like you said, this was a cash grab, PLE. This was never a thing. They've never had these. Like they just threw something in to launch the ESPN thing. And I thought there were some areas where they knocked it out of the park, and there's a lot of areas that they just failed. And I think, it's a detriment to the return of AJ Lee that even though, yes, you can get your work in the ring and, you can, hit the PC, stuff like that. But that's not live, And so like there's a different like feeling, doing something live than it is something you're in the PC, we're just kind of getting the feel of things, because like that, I feel like that almost put a lot more on her shoulders than she could handle, even though she was ready for it. But I feel like when you have the reality and you have you have expectations up here, and the reality, although still good, were not what we were expecting. And so that's kind of my take on it all. I mean, it was still a good match. I just felt like they really could have built this match up.
Right. And I think that is where I wanted to see it. Not like 2 to 3 weeks of build for PLE that you decided to do just to undermine another promotion. And that's what I'll always think. So I think she did. I think based upon what I've seen, I think she did well. Yeah,
I think this is going to be a match that's going to build up to another match, whatever the next PLE is going to be.
Yeah.
Whatever weird ass name of a one they come up with.
Yep.
Funkapalooza. All right.
You know what? I need to know where they came up with. I thought the WrestlePalooza was like a John Cena like thing from like.
I don't know. It's the first time ever hearing it.
Yeah, I like, and that's the thing is that, like you said, this was just a middle finger to another wrestling promotion, and nothing more, nothing less.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna put this out there to say, all I can say, you had WWE had like 8 I think it was like 6 or 8 matches, and freaking AEW All Elite had about. I think about 16 matches they had on the card.
Yeah, they had. There was
they
a
were
6-hour show.
Every single one of those matches were the ones I watch were fucking bangers. So they were
Yeah.
great matches.
Yeah, they were.
Well, and
yeah.
I think we got an homage from Cope, the John Cena 5 knuckle shuffle. I
Shuffle,
seen
and
that.
then the attitude adjustment.
Yep.
You know, and maybe that is Edge's way of paying homage and respect, even though it was, you know, to obviously everybody knows what it was, and obviously at this point Edge is not in, you know, WWE, and this was maybe his one shot of giving some respect to
I love
the never seen 17. So,
the fans
but,
like, you can't see me.
but
Yes.
so
that was
so the main
well done.
event of WrestlePalooza, it was a worthy main event, but I think honestly, like, okay, so Cody Rhodes obviously beats Drew McIntyre, but I think that to a certain degree, I think Drew McIntyre really did injure himself.
I think so too. He hit that announce table pretty hard.
And so, because you could see him, you know, try to go for the Claymore and just buckled. And I really truly think to a certain degree that there is a slight injury. Obviously, we'll probably find out on Friday or Monday or whatever day they want to show up, because anybody can show up anywhere.
All I'm going to say, I think Cody Rhodes will show up on Monday, because at their post show, you had Seth came out while CM Punk, when Cody Rhodes was talking, they both held their titles high up above each other.
So this would lead me to believe, if this is what would make sense to me, is the whole Crown Jewel Championship, right? So I feel like this should have not been a belt. I feel like this should have been a trophy with a name on it. Just like the Andre the Giant, where it's, you know, where like, hey, you win it, you're the first person, and then whoever the champions are at that time, they face off, and whoever wins gets their name on it, you know, for the second time. And I feel like that's probably what they're working towards. I hope it is, but it really doesn't make sense to have a championship that doesn't get defended.
True.
You know,
Don't get me wrong, I like the way the belt looked.
I mean, yeah, it's a Saudi belt. They're tossing hundreds of millions of dollars at WWE. Like,
no, that men's title, man, damn. I was like, I went straight to WWE website to see if they had that shit up for sale. I was like, shit, I'll buy it.
Yeah, that'd probably be like $700.
Probably.
And I know you ain't got kids and shit, but I don't think your girl will be like, yeah, go ahead and spend $700 fucking dollars.
No, she probably would tell me to save for it if I really want it.
You're
Just
like,
she knows
she
knows I want the world heavyweight title. She just told me to say.
I think that'd be a better investment.
3 years later,
really quickly,
3 years later.
I'm waiting for Raw to come to town where I can buy that.
Yeah.
So
WrestlePalooza comes from a ECW, is an ECW name that they used. So WrestlePalooza comes from ECW, but it has its roots with the band Jane's Addiction for their Lollapalooza that they were doing in the early 90s. Then ECW heard about it, and they called an event WrestlePalooza. So that's where it comes from. So there you go. The internet saves us again.
I know, once again.
That's Google for you.
Yeah. So I mean, I really really hope that we get that, you know, champion versus champion for the Crown Jewel Championship. I hope that happens, because it's the only thing that makes sense, honestly. But then that means that you have Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquera, which would be an absolute banger.
I think it is. I think it's going to be the Crown Jewel champion, whoever the Crown Jewel champion is, defending the championship. Now, if I remember correctly, it's Liv Morgan, I believe. Liv Morgan is the Crown Jewel champion, and
Cody Rhodes is the other one.
So they've got to find, like, they have to crown another champion.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is that, like, they should be able to hold it till the next Crown Jewel event, But yeah, like you said, if they're not the champion, like that's what doesn't make sense. Is that like obviously Cody is conveniently the champion, but like you said, yeah, Liv Morgan is out. So I don't know because how do you justify like let's say the person is champion, or let's say let's say so hypothetically. So you have Cody as the crown jewel champion, right? And he's
Mhm.
current champion. What does that mean if the other person beats him? Because what if so you win the crown jewel, but you beat the champion and that champion has a belt too. So
I
you're
don't
saying
think I just think it's the crown jewel title. I don't think it's not winner takes all.
well that's what I'm saying, but like what if the person that's facing against the crown jewel champion isn't a champion? Is my
Then
segue.
so if the crown jewel champion is not a world champion, it's still they're just defending that crown jewel championship.
Yeah, when
That's
they get done, it goes right back into their safe.
so it's like being a two belt champion. You decide, oh, I'm gonna defend the world championship, but not the U.S. championship.
Well,
It's
but again, like it should it if the person either person like is champion, but like who's the other person that would face off against the crown jewel champion? Like what would you what kind of tournament would you have to have that? I guess the number one contender
for
for
the
the crown
crown
jewel
jewel.
champion,
You
because
know
like
what?
because if
Let's just say like it's that's not how it goes. Let's just say like whoever the Saudi prince wants to see.
I
Let's
don't
just
know.
let
Let's
that
just say the
let's
last that they
let that be the rule. Let's let that be kayfabe. It's like
it,
uh
and
we
this
don't
is
have a
why
number one contender. The
say
Saudi prince is booking this show.
last time it was they did it. The first time they did it was Cody Rhodes when he was the WWE Undisputed Champion, and then Gunther was the World Champion. And those two fought each other. That's probably pretty much the way they're going to do it. It's like
Yeah.
you got Cody's gonna verse Seth Rollins, and then what's her name? Who's the new women's champion taking on Tiffany. I think that's the way it's going to do it.
I just think the shit doesn't make sense because there's
It's
way,
WWE.
there's just so many scenarios to play out for this whole title thing, and it's really just it's stupid. Like I get it because Saudi wanted their belts and they want to have that recognition and all that nonsense, but it does nothing for just regular week to week product and storylines and stuff like that. It's just something. Apparently now it's twice a year. It's just something just tossed in, and we all know that Saudi gets what Saudi wants because Saudi wants who they want, and they're the ones that cut the check. So like it could be another giant clusterfuck because it's what Saudi wants, even though a lot of times these matches in Saudi have nothing to do with any current storylines. Even good storylines don't get resolved at Crown Jewel because Saudi's like, hey, these are the matches I want. And WWE could be like, well, I don't know. And they're like, well, I guess I better know how to bounce check. And so like it's these Saudi shows are basically what Saudi wants, Saudi gets.
Yeah, they
And
get what the superstars they want.
these shows are independent of current storylines. Let's put it like that. They're separate.
Yeah.
They are, but again, they better like put some good matches together. But I guess no one's going to it but them. So I guess like it's like you might as well not even have it televised. Like you might as well just go throw some matches in Saudi and go do what you do and see you next week. Like it's
Pretty much.
it's because like for the fans that are watching storylines build and storylines play out, they really don't get resolved at Saudi shows.
No, I think they're just like these one-off storylines. They're just like, you know what, it's just like
Goldberg just returns randomly, like
right.
you know, I mean,
I think, but there is something to be said about Cody versus Seth. at
Yeah.
the Saudi show because Cody has had Seth's number in a number of matches.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get a start of something new, or I don't see why Cody wins that, other than Cody's the face, Cody's the baby face. But
Yeah.
if Seth wins, it's kind of like it gets him out of that I can beat Cody, But
Yeah.
his last few times that he, when Cody returned, that was how it was booked.
Yeah.
So
I mean, in the crown jewel thing is it's basically it's SmackDown on the 10th, it's
mhm.
Crown Jewel on the 11th, and Monday Night Raw on the 13th of October, and so it's kind of the whole weekend shindig, and so I don't know, it's tough to like be a fan and watch these storylines, and then you're like, okay, well they're gonna end up, finishing out this feud or having a breaking point at the next PLE, but then the next PLE is a crown jewel event, and then you're like, well, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna throw at us, but I guess we'll just take it. And so,
Pretty much.
and then it's like you got the crown jewel thing, and then you're already and then you're a month away from Survivor Series, and so like, you know, it jumps quick and it happens quick, when you're jumping from, certain PLEs to other ones, because sometimes, like the Saturday Night Main Event ones, like they're a step above a Raw or SmackDown, but they're not
Mhm.
good enough to be a certifiable PLE. Even though I mean they are, but they're still kind of like,
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we'll just wait and see what becomes of anything. Obviously, Crown Jewel Perth is the next stop on the train. So I mean, I hope they start. Even if these, I mean, they have a month roughly. So like, I hope at least maybe we get some decent build to whatever matches they give us at Perth.
Mhm.
And at Crown Jewel. So we'll put a pin in it as we do, and we will play the wait and see game for what WWE cooks up. So this is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.